Inside Out is a 2015 American computer-animated comedy film produced by Pixar Animation Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. Directed by Pete Docter and co-directed by Ronnie Del Carmen, with a screenplay written by Docter, Meg LaFauve, and Josh Cooley, adapted from a story by Docter and Del Carmen. It stars the voices of Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, Richard Kind, Louis Black, Bill Hader, Mindy Kaling, Caitlin Diaz, Diane Lane, and Kyle MacLachlan. The film is set in the mind of a young girl named Riley, where 5 personified emotions, joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, try to lead her through life as she and her parents adjust to their new surroundings after moving from Minnesota to San Francisco. Docter began developing the project after noticing changes in his daughter's personality as she grew older. The film was first announced in 2011. And Del Carmen subsequently became co-director after working on the animated film Up, 2009. The film's producers consulted psychologists Dacher Keltner and Paul Ekman, who helped revise the story by emphasizing the neuropsychological findings that human emotions affect interpersonal relationships, which were later substantially moderated to them. The film's official title was revealed in 2013, with Poehler, Black, Kaling, Hader, and Smith were subsequently announced as the cast that same year. Inside Out premiered in Cannes on May 18, 2015, and was released in the United States on June 19, accompanied by the short film Lava, 2014. The film received acclaim from critics and audiences, and grossed $857 million worldwide, making it the 7th highest-grossing film of 2015. The film received numerous awards and nominations, including a BAFTA Award, Golden Globe Award, Critics' Choice Award, Annie Award, Satellite Award, and Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Plot. Edit. Within the mind of a girl named Riley are the basic emotions that control her actions: joy, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger. Her experiences become memories, stored as colored orbs, which are sent into long-term memory each night. Her 5 most important core memories power aspects of her personality which take the form of floating islands. Joy acts as the leader, and she and the rest of the emotions try to limit sadness's influence. At the age of 11, Riley moves to San Francisco for her father's new job. She at first has poor experiences. The new house is cramped and old, her father hardly has any time for her. A local pizza parlor only serves pizza topped with broccoli, and the moving van with their belongings ends up in Texas and will not arrive for weeks. On Riley's first day at her new school, sadness retroactively turns joyous memories sad, which causes Riley to cry in front of her class and creates a sad core memory. Joy tries to dispose of it by using a vacuum tube but accidentally knocks the other core memories loose during a struggle with sadness, disabling the personality islands. Joy, sadness, and the core memories are sucked out of the headquarters. In joy and sadness's absence, anger, fear, and disgust are left in control, with disastrous results, distancing Riley from her parents, friends, and hobbies. Because of this, her personality islands gradually crumble and fall into the memory dump, where memories are forgotten. Finally, Anger inserts an idea into the console, prompting Riley to run away to Minnesota, believing it will restore her happiness. While navigating the vast long-term memory area, Joy and Sadness encounter Bing Bong, Riley's childhood imaginary friend, who suggests riding the train of thought back to headquarters. The three, after extreme inconvenience caused by the island's dissolution, eventually catch the train, but it halts when Riley falls asleep, then derails entirely with the collapse of another island. In desperation, Joy abandons Sadness and tries to ride a recall tube back to the headquarters, but the ground below the tube collapses, breaking and sending Joy and Bing Bong plunging into the memory dump. A crestfallen Joy discovers a sad memory that turned happy when Riley's parents and friends comforted her. Joy finally understands Sadness's purpose, alerting others when Riley is emotionally overwhelmed and needs help. Joy and Bing Bong try to use Bing Bong's old wagon rocket to escape the memory dump, but are unable to fly high enough due to Bing Bong's weight. On their last attempt, Bing Bong jumps out to allow Joy to escape as he fades away. Joy reunites with Sadness and they return to the headquarters, but arrive too late as Anger's idea has disabled the console, rendering Riley apathetic. To the surprise of the others, Joy hands control of the console to Sadness, who is able to reactivate it and prompt Riley to return to her new home. As Sadness reinstalls the core memories, transforming them from happy to sad, Riley tearfully confesses to her parents that she misses her old life. Her parents comfort her and admit they also miss Minnesota. Joy and Sadness work the console together, creating a new core memory consisting of happiness and sadness. A new island forms, representing Riley's acceptance of her new life in San Francisco. A year later, Riley has adapted to her new home, made new friends, and returned to her old hobbies while acquiring a few new ones. Inside the headquarters, her emotions admire Riley's new personality islands, and all work together on a newly expanded console with room for 'em all. Voice cast. Amy Poehler is Joy, 5. Phyllis Smith is Sadness, 5. Richard Kind is Bing Bong, 6. Lewis Black is Anger, 5. Bill Hader is Fear, 5. Mindy Kaling is Disgust, 5. Caitlin Diaz is Riley, 1. Diane Lane is Riley's mother, 7. Kyle MacLachlan is Riley's father, 7. Paula Poundstone is Forgetter Paula, 1. Bobby Moynihan is Forgetter Bobby, 1. Paula Pell is the Dream Director, 8. Dave Goels is Subconscious Guard Frank, 8. Frank Oz is Subconscious Guard Dave, 8. Josh Cooley is Jangles, 8. Flea is Mind Worker Cop Jake, 8. John Ratzenberger is Fritz, 8. Carlos Alazraki is a helicopter pilot, 8. Peter Segal is Clown's Joy, 8. Rashida Jones is Cool Girls Emotions, 8. Production Development Edit As a child, director Pete Docter's family relocated to Denmark so that his father could study the music of Carl Nielsen, 9, while his sisters had an easy time adjusting to the new surroundings. Doctor felt he was judged constantly by peers. 10. While other kids were interested in sports, Doctor sat alone drawing, a hobby that eventually led him to animation. 11. His social anxiety ended by high school. 9. Doctor noticed his preteen daughter, Ely, exhibiting similar shyness. 12. As Ely was more quiet and reserved. Doctor said that he, frankly, triggered his insecurities and fears. 9. He imagined what happens in the human mind when emotions set in. The idea to depict it through animation excited Doctor, who felt it the ideal form to portray strong, opinionated, caricatured personalities. 13. After working on the animated film Up, Doctor invited Ronnie Del Carmen to become a co-director. 14. Del Carmen asked Doctor that, "Would like you to co-direct with me," and Del Carmen knew for the first time, who realized why he had been chosen by the director. 14. Doctor began researching information about the mind with Del Carmen and producer Jonas Rivera, and they consulted psychologist Paul Ekman and the University of California, Berkeley professor of psychology Dacher Keltner. Ekman had early in his career identified 6 core emotions: anger, fear, sadness, disgust, joy, and surprise. Doctor found surprise and fear to be too similar, which left him with 5 emotions to build characters around. 13. Other emotions considered for inclusion during the development process were schadenfreude, ennui, pride, and hope. 15. Keltner focused on sadness being an emotion that strengthens relationships. 13. Both emphasized how emotions organize social lives and the structuring of interpersonal interactions, which can be significantly moderated by them. The film was first announced in August 2011 at the D23 Expo. 17. The smash success of Doctor's Up encouraged those at Pixar to allow Doctor to create another film with a more sophisticated story. 9. Inside Out is the first Pixar film without input from co-founder and former Apple CEO Steve Jobs, who died in 2011. In addition, the film did not have as much input from the Chief Creative Officer John Lasseter, who has focused on restructuring Walt Disney Animation Studios in Burbank at the time of its production. 9. Executives at Disney and Pixar were positive at the proposal of making Inside Out, but acknowledged it would be difficult to market. 18. The film's title, Inside Out, was officially announced by Pixar in April 2013. KJ. Story. Edit. Doctor recruited a story crew to help develop the film's plotline. Although animation as an industry had been dominated by men, half of the story crew were women. In an attempt to have more diverse input, the choice to focus the film on a girl came from research that claimed that females age 11 to 17 are more attuned to expressions and emotions than others. The idea to have Riley play hockey came from Del Carmen, who observed that the sport is very popular in Minnesota. Initial ideas for the film found the main character, Riley, falling into a deep depression. Doctor later felt they were inappropriate and scrapped them, although in the final film Riley does sink into a depression. The film was first storyboarded over a period of 2 to 3 years, all the while undergoing screenings for Pixar's Brain Trust. a small group of creative leaders at Pixar who oversee development on all films. After multiple screenings and suggestions from other filmmakers, the picture was put into production. It was again evaluated 3 months into that process. Kevin Nolting, the editor of the film, estimated there were 7 versions of Inside Out created before it even went into production. 20. The story team attempted to create as much contrast with characters as possible. 11. They found Joy, the most complex character to write for, as she illustrates a broad range of happy feelings. 21. The earliest idea present in the final film is that Joy holds on to youth too long, setting about a social storm for Riley. 22. It was not until several screenings later that they came upon the concept of moving to a new place, which created an external conflict that made the story easier to write. Initially, this crisis was to be set at a Thanksgiving Day pageant, in which Riley was hoping to be cast as its lead role. The turkey doctor later deemed this idea too bizarre, and it was replaced. Doctor estimated it took 4 years of development for the film to achieve success in marrying the architecture of Riley's mind and her personal troubles. The concept of personality islands helped develop the film's emotional stakes, as they directly affect events inside her mind and in her life. In one draft, the characters fell into idea fields, where they would cultivate new ideas, much like a farmer would cultivate crop. 23. The character of Bing Bong, a discarded old imaginary friend, came about in one draft of the film as part of a refugee camp inside Riley's mind. It was difficult to achieve the correct tone for the film. For example, viewers could not be distracted by Joy's nature or feel negative about the mess she helps steer Riley into. Rivera credited the casting of Amy Poehler, in addition to the idea of moving, with helping the film find the right tone. An early version of the film focused on joy and fear getting lost together, as it seemed to be the most humorous choice. By July 2012, the project was set for an evaluation screening with other Pixar filmmakers. Doctor gradually began to feel that the story was not working, which made him think that he might get fired. He took a long walk one Sunday, where he began to consider himself a failure, and that he should resign from the film. 13. While pondering what he would miss about Pixar, he concluded that he would miss his co-workers and friends most of all. He soon reached a breakthrough, that emotions are meant to connect people together, and that relationships are the most important things in life. 18. He decided to replace fear with sadness, which he felt is crucial to renewal. He met with Rivera and Del Carmen that night to explain his change of plans, and to his surprise, they reacted positively to it. At the screening, he informed his superiors that new plans for the film were in order. Although it was a scary moment, the film remained in production. Screenwriter Michael Arndt initially worked for a year on the film's script, calling it brilliantly creative, but incredibly challenging. 24. Arndt received an additional story material credit after he left the project in early 2011. With his final script had a single word not remained. 24. 25. Josh Cooley and Meg LaFauve were credited as co-writers of the screenplay following their contributions during the rewrite. Dr. Cooley and LaFauve included experiences with raising their own children into the screenplay, as Cooley said that the screenwriters treated the emotions similar to Riley's parents, which have this same aspect as the screenwriters, and the characters were created as a result of their experiences. 15. Simon Rich also acted as a writer on the film. Screenwriter Michael Arndt initially worked for a year on the film's script, calling it brilliantly creative, but incredibly challenging. 24. Arndt received an additional story material credit after he left the project in early 2011. With his final script had a single word not remained. 24. 25. Josh Cooley and Meg LaFauve were credited as co-writers of the screenplay following their contributions during the rewrite. Dr. Cooley and LaFauve included experiences with raising their own children into the screenplay, as Cooley said that the screenwriters treated the emotions similar to Riley's parents, which have this same aspect as the screenwriters, and the characters were created as a result of their experiences. 15. Simon Rich also acted as a writer on the film. The film's voice cast of emotions, Amy Poehler, Lewis Black, Mindy Kaling, Bill Hader, and Phyllis Smith, were first announced in August 2013. 5. With the release of the film's first trailer in December 2014. It was revealed that Diane Lane and Kyle MacLachlan were cast in the film as Riley's parents. 7. Hader was cast to voice Fear, a role that he felt he weaseled his way into by being a huge fan of Pixar's filmography. 27. Hader toured the studio over a week and also helped out in the story room. 28. He was invited to play Fear by the end of his stay there, but was also asked to contact fellow Saturday Night Live (SNL) veteran Amy Poehler, whom the team viewed as perfect for the character of Joy. They said, "Would you mind calling Amy? We don't want to call her and have her think we're some weirdo," he recalled. He phoned Poehler and explained the story to her, noting that her role would be the driving force in the film. 28. When the story was pitched to Kaling, she broke down in tears, explaining, "I just think it's really beautiful that you guys are making a story that tells kids that it's difficult to grow up and it's okay to be sad about it." Rivera chose Smith after watching a lunch scene in Bad Teacher, 2011, in which Dr., as Rivera called him, remarked, "I think we found our sadness." 29. As the film contains several veterans of SNL, the film's team spent a week at that program for research on a live television sequence. 27. Richard Kind was cast to voice Bing Bong, who tried to convey the same sort of innocence of his previous Pixar roles, and wound up not taking part in pre-release promotion as the producers decided to keep the character a secret. 30. Animation. Edit. The film's art design is intended to reflect 1950s Broadway musicals. 9. Doctor imagined that with emotions for characters, they could push the level of caricature to both design and style of movement to degrees. To this end, they emulated animators Tex Avery and Chuck Jones. 23. Doctor informed supervising animators Sean Krause and Victor Navone to push the graphic caricature of each character rather than sticking to the rigid behavior of each render man model. This required an artist to draw over characters in the film during dailies, using a Wacom Cintiq. 31. One of the first scenes the team worked on was the dinnertime scene. in which viewers rapidly switch between the real world and headquarters inside the family's minds. In envisaging how the mind's interior would be depicted, the filmmakers concentrated on the word electrochemical, as production designer Ralph Eggleston explained that this word was meant for considering various options as either energy or energy-based. 32. Each emotion had the effervescent and sparkly aspects. 33. That were made out of energy and particles instead of skin and solid elements. 34. The team worked for 8 months on Joy's sparkly aura, but the team could not afford to work on it, which would affect the film's budget. However, Lasseter requested that it be applied for each emotion, as Eggleston recalled. You could hear the core technical staff just hitting the ground, the budget falling through the roof. 35. The film is localized to accommodate international audiences, in the Japanese version. For example, Riley is disgusted by green bell peppers, rather than by broccoli, to reflect the fact that broccoli is generally less undesirable to Japanese children. 36. Music. Edit. Inside Out. Original soundtrack album by Michael Giacchino, released June 16, 2015. Genre soundtrack, length 59 to 52. Label Walt Disney Pixar Soundtrack Chronology. Monsters University, 2013. Inside Out. Original soundtrack, 2015. The Good Dinosaur, 2015. Michael Giacchino Chronology. Jurassic World. Original motion picture soundtrack, 2015, Inside Out, 2015, Zootopia, 2016, Michael Giacchino composed the film's score. 37. The producers first met with Giacchino to explain the film's concept and screen it for him. 23. In response, he composed an 8-minute suite of music, unconnected to the film, based on his emotions viewing it. 23. Rivera noted that while both Giacchino and Docter were musicians, they discussed the film in terms of story and character. 23. Walt Disney Records released the soundtrack on June 16, 2015. 38. Track listing. 39. Marketing promotion. One Day English. The marketing campaign for Inside Out began on October 2, 2014. When the teaser trailer for the film was released, 40, alongside the first theatrical release poster. 41. Angie Han from On December 8, 2014, the first trailer of Inside Out was released. 7. Germain Lussier of Video games. Edit. An inside-out play set featuring all 5 emotions as playable characters was made available for Disney Infinity 3.0. 49. The mobile puzzle bobble-style game, Inside Out. Thought Bubbles, was released on June 18, 2015, and the game is available on Apple App Store, Google Play, Amazon App Store, Windows Store, and Windows Phone Store. 50. 51. Release. Edit. Theatrical. Edit. Inside Out premiered and screened out of competition at the 68th Cannes Film Festival on May 18, 2015. 52. In the United States, Inside Out had its world premiere at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles on June 8, 53, and was released on June 19, 54, in 3D. 55, which accompanied the short animated film. Lava. 56, Inside Out, under the working title The Untitled Pixar Movie That Takes You Inside the Mind, was originally scheduled to be released in the United States on May 30, 2014. 57, in April 2012. However, it was pushed back to the June 19, 2015 date as Pixar scheduled The Good Dinosaur, 2015, for the original date instead. 54. Inside Out was the first animated film to be released in Dolby Vision format in Dolby Cinema and the second for Disney following Tomorrowland, 2015. 58. Along with The Good Dinosaur. Inside Out was one of two feature films released by Pixar in the same calendar year, marking the first time in the company's history. 59. Before Inside Out's release, the film underwent a test screening for children, since executives were concerned that it would be too complicated for younger viewers. 21. Home media. Following an advance screening at CinemaCon on April 22, 2015, the film was well received by audiences. Praise was aimed for its smart storyline. Although some wondered whether the concept was too complicated for young audiences and to attract family crowds. 84. 85. After premiering at the 2015 Cannes Film Festival, the film attracted praise from film critics. Peter de Bruge of Variety was effusive, called it the studio's greatest idea, and a stunningly original concept. As the people thought that changed the way. 86. The Chicago Tribune's Michael Phillips called it the studio's best since Up, also directed by Dr. A consistently inventive and a heartening corrective to recent stockholder-driven inferiorities. 87. Todd McCarthy of The Hollywood Reporter deemed it an audacious concept that stands among the most conceptually trippy films for family audiences. 88. Richard Lawson of Vanity Fair thought the film was likely to have adults make some gestures by shedding more to it, because the film might have some trouble with children. 89. The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw felt it buoyant and sweet-natured, though slightly inferior to Pixar's best. 90. Ignacy Vishnevetsky of the AV Club, while overall positive on the film, said it trades the wordless gracefulness and sense of discovery of the animation studio's best work for explanatory voiceover and non-stop exposition, also arguing that the Pixar animators could have been more visually adventurous to match the conceptual ambition. 91. Christopher Tapley of Variety called it one of the best films of the 21st century. 92. A.O. Scott of the New York Times deemed the film an absolute delight, reserving particular praise for its defense of sorrow, an argument for the necessity of melancholy dressed in the bright colors of entertainment. 93. The Washington Post's Anne Hornaday considered the film's role was transcended as pure entertainment, becoming it is cathartic and therapeutic, while giving a symbolic language to children that managed their unruliest emotions. 6. Richard Roper of the Chicago Sun-Times found it bold, gorgeous, sweet, funny, and sometimes heartbreakingly sad, deeming it one of the best films of the year. 94. Entertainment Weekly's Chris Nashaworthy extolled it as transcendent and touching, so smart and psychologically clever. 95. Times Mary Poles felt it a nearly hallucinogenic, entirely beautiful work that defies the conventions of family movies. 96. Christopher Orr of The Atlantic urged readers to view the film, saying it told the kind of thoughtful, moving meta-story it's hard to imagine being produced anywhere else. 97. Waichi Dimmock in the Los Angeles Review of Books compared the film to the work of neuroscientists Antonio Damasio, Dacher Keltner, and Oliver Sacks. 98. Accolades. Main article. List of accolades received by Inside Out. 2015 film. Inside Out received 15 Best Picture, 21 Best Original Screenplay, and 40 Best Animated Feature nominations from over 50 different organizations and associations. 99. It won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature and was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay at the 88th Academy Awards held in 2016. 100. It received 10 out of 14 Annie Awards at the 43rd Annie Awards, including Outstanding Achievement in Directing in an Animated Feature Production for Dr. Outstanding Achievement in Voice Acting in an Animated Feature Production for Smith, and Best Animated Feature. 101. The American Film Institute selected Inside Out as one of the top 10 films of the year. 102. The film received the Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature Film at the 73rd Golden Globe Awards. 103. It received 3 Critics' Choice Movie Award nominations, including the win for Best Animated Feature. 104. The New York Film Critics Circle awarded Inside Out for Best Animated Film. 105. And it was named one of the top 10 films of the year by the National Board of Review, while also winning the National Board of Review Award for Best Animated Film. 106. The film was runner-up for Best Animated Film at Los Angeles Film Critics Association Awards. 107, and at San Diego Film Critics Society Awards. 99. It received 4 nominations from Satellite Awards, including Best Original Screenplay, Best Animated or Mixed Media Feature, and Best Original Score. It took the Satellite Award for Best Animated or Mixed Media Feature. 108. 109. The film won the award for Best Animated Film at the 69th British Academy Film Awards in London, England, and was also nominated for Best Original Screenplay, losing to Spotlight. 110. The film also received a Robert Award for Best American Film nomination and a David Di Donatello for Best Foreign Film nomination, the Danish and Italian equivalent of the Academy Awards, respectively. 111. 112. In 2016, Inside Out was ranked at number 41 on BBC's 100 Greatest Films of the 21st Century list. A poll of 177 film critics from around the world. 113. Inside Out was also named the 7th best film of the 21st century so far, in 2017 by the New York Times. 114. Inside Out appeared on several lists of the best films of the 2010s in 2019 by outlets including IndieWire, 115, The AV Club, 116, The Independent, 117, RogerEbert.com, 118. In June 2015, Pete Docter said that there are no plans for a possible sequel and added that he wanted to improve more of the studio's original fare, which he teased. Never Say Never. 125. In January 2016, Docter stated that a sequel is possible, and that he and Pixar will explore ideas. 126. In a July 2016 interview, Pixar president Jim Morris said that while demand for a sequel is high, the company has committed its resources to several original movie concepts and that no sequels to any of Pixar's other films, including Inside Out, were being contemplated at that time. 127. Lawsuit. Edit. In June 2017, Denise Daniels, a child psychologist from Minnesota, filed a lawsuit against Disney and Pixar for breach of contract. Daniels had been working on a creative project, The Moodsters, with a theme very similar to Inside Out and had discussed prospects of a TV production with Disney and Pixar executives, including with the film's eventual director Pete Docter. 128. Daniels claims that she presented in detail her idea for color-coded, anthropomorphic characters represented different types of emotion, used as the children's learning tool for Better Understand, ing. The discussions were held between 2006 and 2009. And Daniels argued that they carried an implied contract for her to be compensated if the ideas were used by Disney. In January 2018, her suit was dismissed by Judge Philip Gutierrez, who ruled that since Daniels had released materials related to the project publicly at the time of the conversations, there were no grounds for an implied contract between Disney and Daniels. 129. Daniels appealed to the Ninth Circuit, who upheld the district court's ruling in March 2020 that Pixar's film did not infringe on Daniels's characters. The decision stated that simply creating color-coded characters based on emotions was not enough to be copyrighted, but instead would have required these characters to carry similar characterization elements, as they had previously determined in DC Comics v. Toll in 2015, 130. See also